Hello nieces, hello nephews, it's your Uncle Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we do unbiased price action analysis. SPY was pretty trappy yesterday. It looked like at the end of the day that it was going to close below the chop range. Okay, you guys look at my two green lines here. That represented the chop range. I had 591 down to 584. We had a beautiful breakdown of the 584 level yesterday around the afternoon time. Smashed 582, smashed my 580.5 level. I was watching it because we had the bounce, but for me, the most important thing was that 584 level, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, it recaptured. Okay, now don't get me wrong. We had a very, very beautiful move from the top of the chop range. If you guys recall, I said from 584 up to 591. We had a very hard rejection around 10 o'clock Eastern time in the morning yesterday. 591. Okay. It was very trappy because I wrote in my Discord plan, right? And first plan in the morning, I wrote it was just like New Year's Eve. Okay, and I wrote same plan as New Year's Eve. 589 fails, 587.5 and 586 are in place. So he's looking to short if 589 failed, and of course look to long if 591 cleared. The first setup it gave us was the breakdown of 589. Okay, remember guys, the stock market moves, and if you aren't quick enough to react, you're gonna miss the opportunity, okay, of a good entry. And if you miss the opportunity of a good entry, guys, do not catch FOMO. Catching FOMO is a no-no, okay? Catching FOMO is a no-no because it's gonna screw you over. If you miss a good entry, do not catch FOMO and instead just wait for the next setup, okay? A lot of you guys have been trading long enough to know and see with your own eyes that even if one trade setup is gone, another one shows up not too long after. So always remember, don't be in a hurry to get into a position, okay? Take your time. Wait for a quality setup, all right? Yesterday, 589 breakdown worked great for a level-to-level move. It hit 587.5 and it hit 586 before it decided to bounce. But in the context, it was very fast. So if you missed the good entry, don't catch FOMO. Just wait for the next setup. Now, what's considered a good entry? You want to enter not at the level, but around the level based on if it broke out or if it broke down. So for example, 589 breakdown, you want to try to enter on the breakdown as it breaks down and using the 15-minute chart to confirm the breakdown. Does that make sense? So you want to enter if it's breaking down 589. That's how you want to enter as it breaks down. But I would still look to cut loss if the breakdown doesn't hold. So if let's say it's like 12 minutes left on the candle and I enter puts, right? And I'm hoping, okay, it's got to stay below 589 for me to continue holding my puts, right? But then it just starts going up. It starts going up above 589, but it didn't close above 589. When do I cut loss or when do I get out of that position? Well, I have to know how much I'm willing to lose, okay? Per trade, I am willing to lose one delta, okay? So that's $1 from my entry. So if I'm entering around 589, I want to cut loss if it starts getting close to 590, all right? Another way I cut loss if it closes above it on the 15-minute chart. So it might not hit $1 or go up past where my entry $1, but it might have closed above and invalidated my setup. So I'm cutting loss. Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying make sense? I have a $1 tolerance. Does that make sense? I'm willing to lose $1 per trade in order to make $1.50, $2, $3 per trade. Does that make sense? And I want to enter as close to the breakdown area as possible. You don't want to wait for Uncle Charles or somebody to tell you when to enter, because if you do, you're going to miss your opportunity. So you have to be ready to react. If you're in a boxing match, you're not going to wait for your coach to tell you when to slip and counter and punch back, right? You got to be able to react. Anyways, so yesterday, we had that strong rejection from the top of the chop range, guys, at 591. After we broke down 589, recaptured 589, started the morning off trappy. But once we got that rejection from the top of the chop range, we had the breakdown of 589. False breakout setup. That's an example of a false breakout setup right there, okay? When it hit a critical resistance and it rejects, given selling pressure and is strong enough to break down a support, just like this, just like the 591 hit, broke down 589. And look what happened. Look what happened a couple of times too. After we broke down 589, it wasn't perfect, but we back tested that area as resistant a couple of times. We saw there was selling pressure. So the false breakout was showing that it was staying validated. It was staying intact, which managed to push lower each time. And the end of day one was a big red candle right there and push a lot lower down to 580.5 before bouncing. And what does this bounce mean? This is why I say it's unfortunate that 584 didn't break down. It recaptured, because that means the chop continues. 591 to 584 is Uncle Charters' chop range. We didn't get the breakdown. I don't care if SPY goes up or down. I just wanted to get out the chop range so we can get a directional move. Unfortunately, the price action said now is not the time. Let's see if on a Friday something can happen. Okay, so the plan for today, we had the critical fib level at 586. Okay, technically, even though we're still in the chop range, we lost that level yesterday, which is a bearish breakdown, technically speaking. So 586 is resistant. Bulls need to recapture 586 to give us a false breakdown setup and put those higher targets in play. 587.5, 589, and 591. Above 591, the chop ends in favor of the bulls, and it could give us a chance to head up higher. We have gaps to the downside. We have gaps to the upside. Which gaps will get filled first? There's plenty of gaps. But the bottom line is 586 clears and 591 clears. Uncle Charters will be bullish. All right. Now, we could stay below 586. Yesterday's breakdown stays intact. And that will give the bears a better chance to break down 584 and it being a legit breakdown. And so if 584 fails our support, guys, that's very bearish. 582, 580.5, and 579 will all be in play. Okay? Even though 584 to 591 is a chop range, I'm overall bearish below 586. Above 586, bulls have a shot to go retest the top of the chop range. And above 591, I am bullish. Below 586 and 584, I am bearish. Okay? But overall, though, 584 up to 591 is overall chop range. We still must wait for the break of this range. And then the SPY should give us a directional move. Okay? Triple Q, 511. Fib level was lost yesterday. Right now it's trying to gap above. So 511 must fail as support to put 509, 507.5, and 505 all in play. Okay? 511. Below it, bearish. Above it, bulls have a shot at a bounce. But 512.5 and 514 must clear to put 515.5, 517, 519, and 520.5 in play. Tesla is very bearish. Next support I have is at 380 and 377.7. If those levels fail, 376, 373, 370 will all be in play. We could drop all the way down to 367 and 365.5. Trust no bounce unless we start clearing resistant levels. Okay, so staying above 380 is good, but it'll need to clear the next resistant level at 383, 384.5, and 386 to put 389, 390.5 or higher in play. Please add those levels to your chart. NVDA, the multi-month trend line continues to hold as support. No false breakout just yet. Follow through for today because we can bounce, but if there's no follow through, it means nothing. So for there to be follow through, 140 must clear to put a bottom in. If 140 clears, look along with 142, 145 or higher in play up to 148. Definitely a possibility. Okay. If 138, 136.5 fails, 135, 133.5, and 132 in play. And there's a good chance that 132 can actually hit if we start breaking down support again. IWM, can't really say it looks bullish. It rejected hard yesterday from that fib level, my 1.61.8 fib level. All right. I can't trust no bounce unless 222 or 224 can recapture. I'll trust a bottom maybe in if above 226 for this potential W pattern, but otherwise 220 and 219. Actually, yeah, if 220. If 220 fails, 218, 216.7, and 215 all incoming. Apple, beautiful pullback. Had this in the trade idea for the tier 2 members or higher, tier 2 and tier 3. We talked about Apple yesterday. Still look like it's in pullback mode. To end it, resisting at 250 and 251.5 must recapture to put the higher targets in play. For the pullback to continue, staying below 250 is a must. Next support at 248.5 must fail to put the lower targets in play. Worked out beautiful. Broke down 248.5. And look at that. All right. Right now it's around 243. So next support is at 243, 241.5, and 240. If they fail, the pullback continues down. This is so beautiful. Okay. Trust no bounce unless 244.3 can recapture to put 246, 248, and 250 all back in play. 248.5 and 250 all back in play. Amazon didn't quite break down that 220 level. Okay, still need to break down 220 to put 218 and 216 in play. That would be very bearish. But otherwise, I can't trust a bounce unless 220 could stay above, hold that support. Next resistance at 222, 224, and 226 must clear. Bottoms in if 226 recaptures. Meta is still within this triangle pattern. To break it out, it needs to clear 601 and 603. And if it does, that would be very, very, very bullish. It's going to blast off to outer space like Team Rocket from Pokemon or something. But as of right now, support is at 599. What else I got? 599, perfect. 596.7 and 595. Those levels fail. 593, 591.4, 590 or lower would be in play. Now the breakdown of the triangle pattern is all the way down at 586. Okay, so we could go and test 586 if support starts failing, but below 586, bears would definitely be in control. Microsoft flirting with this up trend line here. To break it down, it got to get below 418. Well, 419, 417. Break those levels down will be very, very bearish. 419 to 417. Trust no bounce unless 421 can clear to put those higher targets in play. 423, 425, 426.5, 428, and 429.2. Okay. DXY continues to be bullish. Well, it hit those targets I mentioned, and right now support is at 109. It's trying to break it down, and if it does, 108.6 or 108 will be back in play. If 109 can hold that support, it's not right now, but if it can hold that support, 109.3 and 109.5 will all be targets of the upside. Coin has an inside candle setup here. The chop range is 246.3 all the way up to 263.6. That's a hell of a range. It's a hell of a range. Right now, resistance at 260, 261.5, 263 at 265. Those levels must clear, okay, to be bullish, okay? I'd be bull bias. The bottom is in above 263 and 265, all right? Support right now is at 258. Yeah, that's a fib level, 258 and 256. Those levels fail, we could drop very, very low down to 250, 250.7, and then the bottom of the chart right all the way at 246.3, guys. So that's a long way down, and below 246.3, I would be bear bias. DOGE trying to break out the chop range. If it could stay above, I might actually enter longs this morning. If it can, yes, if it can stay above 34 cents, I'm going to enter long this morning. I'm a little nervous, though, with the RSI overbought. We'll see. I'll probably enter a small position. That's my plan for DOGE, though. My targets would be 37 cents, 40 cents, 42, and 44 cents. All right. If it don't break that level out, I'm not gonna enter long. 34 cents down to 30 cents is still the chop range. Bitcoin look like it's trying to bounce. Support I have right now is at 95K. As long as above 95K, 98 and 100K is in play. I wouldn't look to short unless 95K can fail to put 93 and 90K all back in play. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Let's finish the week strong. It's Friday, so we can enter the weekend happy. Peace.